grind hard to get ahead. You trying to go backwards.
Feeling like the old me. Feelings from the past, pray the Lord block it all out. I was in love with you.
What's up? What's up? What's up? It's your boy. Can't you tell them to do shit? Hey man, say man, we are Liz don't like the teeth, man. Turn. Today, to motherfucking day, straight hood and outside shit, man. We watching when insurance fraud goes completely wrong. Hey man, say man, we all been there. Well, I've been there. You know what I'm saying? When nigga try to get some easy ass money, you did. We out here trying to hustle, grind on the motherfucking streets, struggling. Nigga try to get some easy money the quick way. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes it go through, sometimes it don't go through. My ass was trying to get the PPP loan. You know what I'm saying? But it didn't go through, thank God. But some of it goes through. We finna watch when it goes completely wrong. We finna let's turn up. You bitch ass niggas. Let's go.
Here are a few of the worst cases of insurance fraud.
Bro, that's crazy.
Number 10.
Nigga, the niggas who call him is a lone person who's trying to get the money from me, bro.
A mechanic in Massachusetts called himself the doctor of the collision industry.
We're trying to get money
He
from
had a
him right
body
now.
shop that was supposed to
Imagine.
fix damage to his customers' vehicles.
That number was trying to get
However,
money from him.
Hadard was
Scam-ass
doctoring
niggas.
the documents he used to scam his customers and the insurance companies. Whenever a vehicle came in with damage, he would damage it more.
Dude, that's what they be doing that shit!
Insurance company. He would rip the companies off and also charge the customer for the extra damage.
That's what they be doing
He was
that shit. They
caught
did it
after
to
an
my fucking
investigation
car.
Opened in 2017, and surveillance footage of the crime was found on his cameras. It showed Hadard going around his shop with different objects, hitting the vehicles. Not only was he charging for all this extra stuff,
Nigga,
but in some
I'm
cases,
messing my car.
he
I got
didn't
that whole
even
fixed.
fix the damage.
Tell me why that whole
that
messed up the
caused.
next week.
Hadard made
Nigga,
away
fuck
with
you on my card, bro.
$170,000 from his
Spam
scams
ass, no
before he
fucking
was
call you
caught
bitch-ass
and
spam ass
convicted.
niggas.
He is serving 6 months of a 2.5-year sentence on these charges.
Man, I swear
while
these
also
mechanics be
serving
doing
8
that
months
shit,
for a
man.
separate
Be
payroll
messing up my
tax
car on
bill. This
purpose.
makes us wonder, why wouldn't he just delete the footage from his own security cameras? You know, since he's committing a
Wait, they
giant
be trying to
scam.
get extra money.
Number 9.
Making niggas pay
Lend me a
extra money,
hand.
bruh.
Three men in Sumter,
Man, I
South
swear these people
Carolina,
can't be doing that
proved
shit,
the
man.
length some people would go to for money. One night, after some alcohol, of course, David Player, Gerald Harden, and Michael
Fucking up
Weaver
people's cars
hatched
and
a
shit.
brilliant idea. They would remove Weaver's arm with a chainsaw and file an insurance claim saying they were working as tree cutters when it
Wait,
happened.
what?
Yes, this is a true story. They rushed Weaver to the emergency room, but the doctors could not reattach his arm. After filing, the trio made off with over $600,000 for the
They didn't
price
cut
of
that
an
nigga
arm.
arm off?
Player was considered the mastermind behind this plot, but his plan doesn't exactly scream brilliance. During the investigation, Player showed no remorse and lied about where the $600,000 insurance money went. Hardin got a much lighter sentence for his cooperation with the
Nigga,
police.
what?
The mastermind was also ordered to pay it all back in restitution. David Player and Gerald Harden were sentenced in May of 2008 to 14 years and 3 years respectively. They were convicted of what Judge Cameron Curry called the most aggravated case of
You gonna
fraud
cut your
he had
arm
ever
off
seen.
for some
Weaver's
money, nigga? It's
IQ
not
apparently is
worth it.
between 54 and 65 and sadly was dependent on Player. In return, Player betrayed Weaver for a quick buck. Number 8. Calculating landlord. Life insurance fraud isn't reserved for those faking their death. In fact, a Floridian woman figured out a whole new way to go about it. Joyce Small was a landlord in Florida who owned property
Can't
up and
stand
down the East
landlords.
Coast.
They be on some
She had
bull.
lots of tenants and presumably was doing okay financially. It's not completely clear why she felt the need to begin her scam, but she almost made $2 million off of it.
Damn,
Joyce is
nigga,
unique
you
and
ain't decide to share
dark in
nothing,
her
bitch.
approach. She obtained personal information from all of her tenants using their applications. She would then choose who she thought was the most likely to kick the bucket. Whether it was because of health conditions or just old
That's
age,
fucked
Joyce looked for people
up.
she could exploit. Once she chose her victims, she would take out life insurance policies spread across 8 different insurance companies. Then, she'd wait. Just 5 of her victims passed away, and she made over $200,000. If all 29 of her targets had passed, Joyce stood to gain almost $2 million. Number 7. Supposed employers. In 2018, in a little town in the western Cape Province of Africa, a woman finally hit the jackpot.
Okay,
A young
okay,
mother of
okay,
2
turn up.
named Palumbo
Turn up, turn
Mohaka
up, turn
was
up.
going to a new airport job. Strangely, to get the job, she had to pass a blood test. With her future seemingly on the rise, Mohapi never considered that this would be the last job she ever drove to.
Wait,
Her
what?
would-be employers, Melizwi Monko, Sufisili Pamba, and Pumlani Kwaseka,
Damn.
weren't there to give her a job. They instead traded her life for a big payday that eventually led right back
Wait,
to them.
what?
The trio used her blood samples and personal information to take out life insurance policies
Aw,
on
man.
the victim worth almost $2 million. Anyone that's ever seen a network crime drama knows the first thing police do is check life insurance policyholders for a motive. Once her body was found near Harold
killed her?
it didn't take long for them to get caught. They were found guilty of multiple charges that included murder, kidnapping, and conspiracy to commit
Damn, never
murder.
trust these
To make
bitch
matters
ass
worse,
motherfuckers,
this
man.
wasn't the first time they'd done
And they
this.
killed
They
her
attempted
lady.
to kill another victim in Eastern Cape Province
Ah,
and had
man.
policies out on 2 more women without their knowledge. They haven't been sentenced yet, but they won't likely taste
Boy,
freedom
you,
again.
boy,
with all their charges.
I feel bad for
Number
these
6,
motherfuckers, bro.
get me a body. In 2011, a dead body was discovered on the roadside near a small
Oh, snap.
Moldovan village in Eastern Europe. It was identified as Igor Vorotinov and ruled to be death by heart attack. His wife, Irina, who lived in Minnesota, was the beneficiary of his life insurance policy and received a check for over $2 million.
How you get that
Nothing
much
too
insurance
extraordinary
money?
about the case until 2013, when the FBI got a tip that Igor faked his death. Igor had been living under the false name Nikolai Patoka in Moldova.
Wait,
Irina
what?
got someone to open an account to cash the check and began transferring money in her adult son's Alcon's name. They transferred about $1.5 million to accounts in Moldova and Switzerland. Alcon and his fiancée were grabbed outside an airport in Detroit by the FBI
That's smart
after
though, right
returning
there.
from Moldova. They seized his laptop, and after obtaining a warrant, they searched through it. The investigators found pictures of the supposedly dead Igor dated after his death. With this evidence,
That's
they began
smart, though.
arresting the family, and they all pleaded guilty. Irina received 37 months in prison for the crimes of mail fraud and illegal transactions. Alcon got 3 years of probation for his involvement in the plot. The mastermind himself, Igor, was sentenced to 41 months in prison for mail fraud.
That's not that
However,
much,
the
though.
question remains, what is the true identity of that dead body?
Ah,
in Moldova?
man.
Did the Vortinovs take this man's life to
Oh, they didn't kill that
perpetuate their
nigga, bro.
fraud? Number 5, cow parts plus a mannequin. I have never seen a fraud quite like this one before. That's what Special Assistant U.S. Attorney Grant Gelberg said about one woman's master plan to steal millions. Jean Crump used to be a mortician before she became a con artist looking to scam insurance companies.
Okay,
She used her
big brain.
previously gained knowledge to create fake death certificates for fictional people and send them in for claims. Her schemes were rather elaborate and involved multiple people, some props, and even an occasional fire. One day, Jim Davis, a divorce contractor from Los Angeles, died peacefully in his home.
Bruh,
His funeral
you
was
doing
full
all
of
this
tears
stuff,
as
bro, you
friends and
crazy.
family surrounded his casket. However, the coffin was empty, and Jim Davis never actually existed. Jim Davis is a character
Oh,
created by
shit.
Trump to perpetuate her scheme. She even held a
They
mock
made a-
funeral
they
and
made a
buried
Houdini up in
weighed
this
down
bitch.
casket to add
A
to
whole
her
new
claim
person
to
up in this
validity.
bitch.
The scheme worked. First, Trump cashed in on a $315,000 life insurance policy. Although
Man, these
she
niggas are
came
getting these
for $1.2 million.
ridiculous
Her
ass
accomplices,
numbers, you
Dave
dig?
Schilling
Damn,
and Christian
nigga.
Alexander were
getting that much
arrested
money
with
for life
Trump after a
insurance?
house of cards fell down. The
How
investigation
long
was
y'all be on
started
these
by
life
the insurance
insurance
company
plans,
and
bruh?
eventually led to a pretty open and shut case. The FBI had secret surveillance footage of Crump that stopped her at every lie she tried to tell.
Damn.
Alexander testified against Crump in exchange for immunity from prosecution. She said that she posed as Jim Davis's niece to try and collect the money for his death. When Crump thought the authorities were getting close, she exhumed the coffin, filled it with cow parts and a mannequin, and then cremated it.
Ah,
Schilling confessed
shit.
to 2 counts of wire fraud and was sentenced to 2 years
See,
in
they
prison.
they
Two
want to
others
look at
also
they,
confessed
hey,
to
these
being
are
part
human
of
bones, the
Trump's
cow
fake
bones,
funeral
bitch.
team.
Oh,
Trump
that guy.
himself was sentenced to 18 months in prison and was ordered to pay the $315,000 back in restitution. Number 4, the inside job. We've seen a lot of fraudulent crimes committed by policyholders, but what happens when the insurance agents themselves become
They
infatuated?
smart as hell.
Four
Till they get caught.
criminals from Southern California found out the hard way when they were arrested on charges of fraud.
Ah, man.
Ahmed Kuza, Margaret Birobois,
Hey, man,
Michael
say,
Monday,
man.
and
Can't be
Dennis
locking our
Usick
black brothers
were
up
life
like that trying to get a
insurance
quick buck,
agents
man.
came
Come
together
on,
in
man.
a scam worth almost $2 million. They
Hey,
used one of the
money,
oldest
bro,
tricks in the
come on.
book and
Stop
attracted
locking
their
these niggas
would-be
up for $2
victims with a
million.
deal. They created
Y'all
a referral
got
program where people
$2
got
million.
money for bringing their friends and family to one of these agents. Using these victims as personal information, the four submitted false insurance documents to obtain their commission. Their scheme netted them $1.9
How do you get a plan for $2
million
million? This is not making bro, how do you get $2 million on an insurance plan?
Number 3, the hitman. The arrest of a daughter and a drug-dealing family led to the deaths of 2 people and a 25-year-old case. Anna Masia was arrested in 1994, just a week before her ultimate demise. Anna was taken from her home, where $130,000 in cash and plenty of drugs were found.
Why didn't I hide that
Dolores
shit,
Morgan
bro?
and brother Ted Connors had decided that Anna might talk to the police, so they thought that something had to be done. Ted and his best friend Jose Carrero went over to her home, where she and her 2 children were present. They left the 2 children unharmed, but Anna wasn't so lucky. They disposed of her body in New Jersey. Carrero also testified that 5 months later, Dolores called him into the kitchen to have another meeting. She told Carrero that her
Don't trust
husband,
these hoes
Nicholas
with these
Connors,
niggas, man. They
wasn't
get you
happy
killed.
with the investigation into Anna's
They'll
death.
get you
He was
killed.
going to hire a private investigator.
They'll
to
put life
figure out
insurance
what
on your
had
body
actually
and
happened.
kill your
He
ass.
promised Carrero $50,000. The 2 carried out their plan and framed it as
They'll
a
put
robbery.
life
The next
insurance
step
on
of
your
Dolores'
body and
plan
get your
was to
ass
collect
killed
a
for the money, man.
$200,000 life insurance
Man,
policy on
you
her
can't
late
trust these
husband
people,
and
man.
flee to the Dominican
They
Republic
get $2
with her
million for
son
they get
and
$2
his
million for
at the
killing
time
you,
girlfriend.
bruh.
Police quoted her
Niggas
as
will do
saying,
that.
"We already have 2 deaths on our hands. We
It's not
can't
P.
afford another. We can't afford the police snooping around our house again." They returned to the States and moved to Florida, where they lived unbothered until 2017, when the case was reopened. With the evidence investigators found and the confession of Carrero, the mother and son duo were arrested in February of 2020. After a roller coaster trial, everybody waited for the jury's verdict. However, they couldn't
Damn,
agree.
bruh.
No matter
Nigga
how many
getting
times
$2
they would
million
step
worth
back,
of
they
life
always came
insurance,
to the
nigga?
same conclusion. The
How
judge
the fuck you
had to
get
call
that?
a mistrial, and the pair's lawyers asked for their client's release.
Be
The
all
case
right,
is still
hit
moving
niggas and
through
hit
the
men
court
and
system,
shit.
with
Damn.
Carrero serving as the prosecution's star witness. Number 2, accidental drowning. On December 16th in 2000,
Uh-oh.
2 friends, Jerry Williams and Brian Winchester, headed out to Lake Seminole for some early morning duck hunting. Unfortunately for Jerry, he never made it home, leaving his wife, Denise
man.
Williams, a widow. His body was never discovered. His disappearance was ruled as accidental drowning.
What?
However, Denise's brother-in-law, David McCrane, a Tallahassee detective, and Jerry's
Yeah,
mother,
found his
never
body.
believed his
His
death was
body.
accidental. After Jerry's death, his widow collected a life insurance policy on him and married Winchester. Only Denise and Brian knew
Bro, you
what
know they
really
on some
happened to
fun-
Jerry
some
that
bullshit.
cold morning out on the lake.
Don't
16
trust
years later, Brian
these
Winchester
hoes
was arrested for kidnapping
or
Denise
niggas,
at
bruh,
gunpoint
for the
during a
females.
messy divorce.
Don't
Brought
trust
to the police
nobody,
station,
bitch.
Denise believed she
You
was
got life
interviewed
insurance
about
your
her
ass,
abduction,
nigga, they
but
will
the
kill
question
you. You
quickly
like the
turned
golden
on
goose, nigga. They
Detective
finna
McCrane
kill your
came in
ass.
and began asking her questions about her husband's disappearance. He believed that Winchester had hurt Jerry and was going to hurt Denise, so she wouldn't talk.
I keep got number
Little
one,
did he
man.
know that the whole case was about to turn upside down. When Winchester was questioned, he told a news story where he and Denise plotted against Jerry to collect the insurance money.
Damn.
He agreed to testify against Denise and tell them where Jerry's body was. With this evidence, she was convicted and sentenced to 30 years.
Dang, this is
Number
life.
1, miscommunication. One man owed more than he could pay back and decided to play a dangerous game with his life.
Shit.
And no, this isn't the beginning of Squid Game. In
I
South
feel
China's
that.
Hunan province, a man named Mr. He died when he crashed a borrowed car into a river. The authorities searched but couldn't find his body anywhere. He left behind a wife and 2 young children.
Ah,
His wife
man,
found out,
deuces.
took the
Fuck
news
that shit,
hard.
I'm out.
Soon
Head
after,
ass.
she left a heartbreaking
They
note
left
for
up
her
to the
friends on
government looking
WeChat.
ass.
They'd agreed to leave the world together, and that plan was still in effect. Mr. He showed up at a police station on October 12th to turn himself in for faking his own death.
Why?
His reasons were to escape gambling debt and collect the insurance money. It was there that he discovered his wife took her own life and the lives of their children by jumping into a pond. Click here to watch one of these next videos.
He was trying to get that serious. They done killed their own selves. And the kids. Dang. Hey, man, say, man. All money is not good money. And sometimes it's not even worth it, bruh. Nigga, I'm not finna cut my arm off, nigga. I ain't finna fake my motherfucking death. Ain't finna hit no hitman on nobody, man. These niggas are crazy, bruh. Sometimes you just got thinking like, nigga, sometimes you just gotta put the hard work in, the dedication, and keep on grinding, nigga. Shit, ain't nothing gonna fall out from the sky, nigga. You have to keep on grinding, nigga. These niggas are going crazy, man. I done this moment, I was trying to get that quick money too, man. But sometimes it works, sometimes it don't work, man. But you gotta think about it, man. You don't want to crash out on this bitch, man. I hope y'all nigga got a litty ass time enjoying these motherfucking videos, man. Oh yeah, litty ass day in your hood, Northside shit, man. We out this bitch, man. Deuces, gang.